DEITY, now their mics are like relatively less expensive than, or no, I'm thinking of another company.
No, you're right. So this one that I'm checking out, the DEITY is $350.
Is that the name of the mic or the brand?
The brand now. It used to be Aperture. DEITY, right? Now they branched off and they made their own company that's DEITY microphones, and yeah, it's called the S Mic 2, and it's $350, and we're comparing it right now to the Sennheiser 416. Hey, what's up? This is Joe, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the DEITY S Mic 2. So DEITY gave me this mic to review, and it came with a location kit, and it comes with a Rycote shock mount, so if you're planning to hand hold this thing, you can use this. And it also comes with this windshield, also known as a dead cat. So we're going to take a look and see how this mic performs against the mighty Sennheiser MKH 416. Now I know it's not a completely fair comparison. The 416 sells for $999 and this sells for $350. But let's see how it does. I am 16 inches away from both microphones. Once again, I have the DEITY S Mic 2 on the top, and below that I have the Sennheiser MKH 416.
I hear no actual difference.
No difference. I do hear a difference. They both sound very close, but I feel like the 416 is a little more chesty.
Okay.
Like you hear like a little bit more bass in your, you know what I mean?
Okay. Wait, let me
like a little grunt.
Let me hear a little bit of it again.
I'll go back. And I don't know if you hear the cars in the background, but we're in a parking lot right now, so you should hear some cars in the background. The street is actually 180 degrees from these mics. Right now I am about two and a half feet away from the microphones, and I am directly on axis, speaking directly into the microphones. I'm gonna actually do another test to see how they sound at 45 degrees from the microphones. So let's go ahead and do that. I am about 16 inches away from the microphones, and I am talking to the mics directly, and I am at a 45 degree angle from both microphones. Right now I am speaking at a 90 degree angle from both microphones. Once again, we're here outside doing tests, and you should be able to hear the cars behind me. I am 90 degrees from both microphones. Alright, so right now I'm 135 degrees from both microphones. I am about 16 inches away from both capsules, and so this is how it sounds from 135 degrees from both mics. Right now I am talking 180 degrees directly into the back of both mics. How does my voice sound? Does it sound a lot lower in volume? Does the quality of my voice sound a lot different when I'm comparing both mics? So go back and forth and see which one you think sounds better. That's like a 5 decibel.
That's a complete difference.
So a lot more rejection, I would say.
A lot more.
Let's do a true test. I think we did a test of just a street. I'm actually going to do one more test where I put the microphones 90 degrees from the street. Let's see how that sounds off axis compared to 180 degrees, which is what it's at right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move this. All right, so right now I am speaking directly on axis into both mics. I'm about 16 inches away, and there's an airplane. There's actually an airplane, so we'll wait to see how that sounds. It's a perfect time to test to see how these mics reject off-axis noise. All right, airplanes. Okay, so I'm speaking directly into both mics, and the street is 90 degrees from the mics. How does the off-axis rejection sound compared to 180 degrees? To see how the cars sound in comparison to how my voice sounds. But the airplane, the aircraft is still, I can still hear it actually. Can you still hear it? Okay. All right, so now it's just street. Okay. So I'm speaking directly into both mics, and the street is 90 degrees from the mics. How does the off-axis rejection sound compared to 180 degrees?
That's a hard one. That's a tough one. I didn't hear too much of a difference.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because in our other tests, it seems like there's a huge difference, right?
Yes.
But in real world testing, where you're trying to block the street noise, right? It doesn't block it out that much more. Like they both sound like when you add up all the different angles maybe, it all kind of adds up to the same amount of rejection. I have no idea why.
Yeah, that is weird.
So let's do a test of these mics indoors. A lot of people say you're not supposed to use a shotgun mic indoors, but I've spoken to a lot of professionals. I work here in Burbank, and there are a lot of people in the industry, and they've told me that they use the 416 all the time indoors for stuff like Foley, all kinds of different things. So let's do a test indoors. So right now I am about 8 inches from the mic, and the way I have it set up right now is I have the Sennheiser MKH 416 on the bottom, and I have the DEITY S-Mic 2 on the top. Right, so I'm gonna take a step back here. So this is 16 inches away, and I'm directly on axis. So I'm gonna maybe take a step back here. All right, so this is how far I am from the mics, and we'll switch back and forth to see if you can hear a difference between the two mics when I'm about, I would say, 2.5 feet away. All right, took another step back. I would say I'm about 3.5 feet away from them right now, and we'll see how this sounds when you compare the two mics back to back. Next, I'm gonna test to see how they sound off axis. Okay, I know what I think. They sound, to me, they sound the same. They're still the same. Chestiness is the only difference that I hear is the difference, but overall, I can't tell too much. Can you? Is there something you noticed?
The only thing that I noticed was the 416 did give you that little bit of chest just marginally. If you weren't trying to listen for it, I don't think you would find it.
Got it. So I sound just a little bit wimpier with the S mic.
Just a little bit.
All right. Let's see what we got here. 45 degrees, about the same distance from the mics, and I am I'm talking directly at them. I am 90 degrees from the mics. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, check 1 2 1 2. This is 135 degrees from the mics, and testing. See if you can hear a difference between the two. I am talking directly into the back of both mics, so 180 degrees approximately. And what does this sound like? So it's supposed to reject these sounds, right? These are the sounds that you don't want to hear. You want to hear the talent in front of the mics and the sounds behind it. Hopefully it'll reject. Which one is doing a better job of rejecting the sound? And also, what is the quality of the sound? So does it sound weird? Does it sound muffled? Does it sound phasey? So those are the qualities that I look for in a mic. So get real close, shoulder to shoulder. Don't be weird.
I'm just trying to like gauge how
don't
far.
Be weird, bro. You're like 45. All right, so 30. So here's the point of this test is one of these is supposed to be more focused, a tighter pickup pattern, and that's the 416.
Okay.
Whereas the DEITY is supposed to have a wider pickup pattern, kind of like, how would I explain it? Like those flashlights where you can adjust the focus on it, where it's either a tight beam or you can have it a wider beam. Okay. So one of them is supposed to be a wider beam, and you should be able to tell the difference when we talk on this.
Okay, so basically one of them has more of a maybe laser type, while the other one's a little bit more spread out, is what we're trying to figure out.
Correct.
Okay.
So we'll see which one it is.
All right, not a problem.
All right, cool. All right, so now let's do a test of the self noise. Self noise is how much noise these mics have internally without any input from outside sources. So there you have it as far as the self noise. What do you guys think? So I did some mic measurements. What I did was I used a calibrated mic and I recorded some sources that I knew. So specifically these Vana 2 T0s, which I know measure pretty flat. So I used the calibrated mic as my reference point. And to my surprise, both of these mics also measured relatively flat. In addition, they both actually have a very similar frequency response. Good job, DEITY. What I did notice, if I'm to be very specific, the MKH 416 does have slightly more bass. It makes you sound a little bassier, which we talked about earlier. But also on the high end, it's very noticeable on these graphs. The MKH 416 has a little bit more of that sparkle, a little bit more of that detail. So as I told you in my previous video, I set up a new Patreon account. And on that page, I'm going to have my podcast, which I just started. I'm gonna start recording episode 002, so if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll get to hear that. In addition, I'll have some behind the scenes footage that I took at a local shop here called Audio Department. I brought the DEITY S Mic 2 there, and I wanted to hear their opinion, their professional opinion. So I got to hook it up to some more expensive devices like the Sound Devices 688, which I believe is around $6,000. And we compared it on those devices. You can see some behind the scenes. That's only for my Patreon subscribers. Also, I created a correction profile for the S Mic 2 to get it to sound almost exactly like the sound signature of the MKH 416. It's something that'll work with any parametric EQ. So I'm using Final Cut Pro, and I have a file that you can just import directly into there, and you can apply that preset to the S Mic 2 to get it to match with the 416. If you're using Premiere, you can copy the settings into the parametric EQ there and get the same effect. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to my Patreon below. Feel free to support. But at the time, we didn't have the DSP that we have now. So these Fluence AI40s are doing some pretty crazy DSP, because going back to back, they're hitting some notes that it's just weird. Like, they're not supposed to hit those notes. What else did I also notice going back to those speakers is they do have some kind of compression going on. So when you start turning it up real loud, it knows the limits of the speaker and won't let you get to the point of crazy distortion. Maybe slight, but once it picks up on that, it'll start limiting the speaker, so you won't hear that anymore. So that's pretty much it for the S Mic 2 from DEITY. And what I would say is the MKH 416 is a better mic. It is almost 3 times the price. It's been an industry standard for film and TV since the 70s, I believe. And what I think is this S Mic 2 should be the industry standard for YouTubers. There's no reason to not have a good audio setup nowadays. It's $350, and in my opinion, it'll improve your production value way more than getting a more expensive camera, different lenses. It's one of the best values you can get for $350. So yeah, do you think the S Mic 2 will be the new industry standard for YouTubers? We'll have to wait and see. All right, so that's pretty much it. Take care. I'm gonna leave you with some footage that we shot at a park. It's just us messing around with the mics, recording some Foley, and you know, some general shenanigans. Take a look, enjoy, take care, bye-bye. All right, so I'm at this park right now, and I don't know who's looking at me, but I probably look super crazy right now. Like crazy. This is for you guys.
You look like the crazy guy.
So let's see how does Foley sound. That's rude. You shouldn't do that to plants. I guess that's a weed anyway.
They're still plants.
How about this?
Like I can hear through walls. I can hear that stroller, like the wheels on the sand.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
I feel weird.
Okay, that's weird. Enough of that. Stop that, Angela. He's got his mic set up too.
Baby. No,
See?
no.
He's prepared too.